All right. Welcome back to Developing Hurricanes. Gonna immediately start this episode off with an apology because we're probably gonna have out of date information by the time this comes out because we're recording a week in advance, and I'm gonna put that all on myself. Um, I would say a poorly timed trip, but it's not poorly timed. I'm going to Alaska next week, so I need to record in advance, especially with classes starting next week, which, again, crazy fun timing. So we're going to record this a week ahead and still have it come out normal time on Saturday. So, again, welcome back to Developing Hurricanes. I'm Nick. Matt's here as well.
Yeah, I am.
I like the peace sign.
Yeah, that's the
Makes you seem
go-to.
younger than you are.
Wow, hurtful.
Right.
Glad you're going to Alaska.
All right. Yeah, I got premium all the way there and all the way back, so I'm flying comfortably.
Hell yeah.
Comfortably? I think
Comfortably.
I would, yeah. It's still early. It's 1:00. um so let's lead it off with, I guess, breaking, even though I was like 2 hours late to it because I wasn't paying attention to my phone, and I go to Elite Prospects and start going through the feed that I have set up of, box scores and all the things like that to make it a little bit easier for me to source all my information. And Andrei Krutov has been loaned to Aimer. I'm gonna try and pronounce Aimer. I'm not pronouncing that. Never mind. That is really confusing. He has been loaned to Aimer in the KHL. He hadn't really been getting any game time with, I mean, I guess any team besides the VHL squad. And in 23 games, he had 6 points. The MHL level, he was, one of their better players, just always came in, did well. And then he got in 3 KHL games this year, but if I'm not mistaken, it was very low ice time, kind of just like he's a young guy playing up there, so he wasn't going to get a ton. I mean, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 1 minute, nothing spectacular. So he now gets loaned to Aimer, where their roster, we were looking at it right before we started today, and my God, this is a team. Let me tell you what.
It is one of the teams of all time.
I mean, he's going to be playing with Andrei Svechnikov's brother, Evgeny. He'll be playing with Hurricanes legend Alex Galchenyuk.
A grand total of 0 games with the team.
That was the Ryan Dzingel trade, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember
the
these
Hurricanes
things.
Got Galchenyuk and David Warsofsky, Ryan Warsofsky's brother.
Yeah, because didn't Ryan coach David?
Yes, and then traded Galchenyuk immediately for, like, I think nothing. I don't even think we got like a draft pick out of the trade.
And then as well, one of Matt's all-time favorite players, in my opinion, Kirill Slepets. Unbelievably funny.
So, Nick, I know you were saying that, you missed it by like 2 hours, and I just have to say, if you spent like $10 on somebody's Patreon, you could have gotten that answer right away that you also would have been able to access for free online.
He unblocked me recently. I thought that was kind of funny.
Did he really? Yeah, because he's a coward. And one of the biggest babies on hockey Twitter.
Yes, 100%. For the knowledge, Galchenyuk came to the Hurricanes in the deal for Dzingel and Cedric Paquette.
And then he was traded. I remember this. Then he was traded for like David Warsofsky and like nothing.
Oh, okay. The timeline of it, thanks to Google AI, which is always trustworthy.
Correct.
So they traded. The Senators gave away Galchenyuk and Paquette for Ryan Dzingel. The Hurricanes placed Galchenyuk on waivers the next day. The day after, when he cleared, the Hurricanes traded Galchenyuk to the Toronto Maple Leafs for David Warsofsky and another Hurricanes prospect legend, Igor Korshkov.
That's how they got Korshkov.
And then they traded Korshkov to Florida for, I think, his compensation in the Domi deal.
They did, yes. It was for Florida retaining a little bit of salary.
which is insane to see where Florida is now. And like 3 years ago, they were just retaining money. Like 5 years ago at this
I mean, the
point.
Canes retained money as early as like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
They did on the Lyubushkin deal to bring him back to Toronto. They got like a 6th-round pick out of it.
Oh yeah. Well, in any case, that Aimer roster sucks. Andrei Krutov probably, I would say not deserves, but he definitely looks like he's probably close to KHL game time ready, at least like in a like not a prominent, but like 9-10 minutes a night, maybe some power play 2 time. I think he's probably ready for it at this point, and he wasn't going to get that with Torpedo, who is just loaded with young talent like Viktor Fyodorov and the second coming of Gleb Pugachev. Just in name alone. So yeah, I think the loan's a good thing, and Torpedo went from having 3 Canes prospects in their system to now 1, at least for right now.
Who's the third?
The defenseman, Alexander Pelevin.
Okay.
Are we forgetting players now?
Forgetting him.
Come on, dude. This is unbelievable of you. We're professionals here. You can't be forgetting players like Alexander Pelevin.
I can absolutely forget Alexander Pelevin.
That is a shame out of you. Do you have any thoughts on Krutov getting loaned or just moving on?
No, I think it's smart. I mean, like Ammer sucks. Like they're terrible. So he's going to get playing time there. I mean, it's a way for him to get experience at a higher level and potentially get a couple more minutes a night than he would with Torpedo. Like that's worth it in my book. Like it's not going to be glamorous minutes, but it'll get the job done. I think, he's going to, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't really produce more. But again, it's about the process rather than, the results at this point.
Because with Krutov, his whole thing in his draft year was that he was a hyper talented offensive player. Like he was a very good offensive player, but he was very individualistic. So him rounding out the game to become a lot more, not individualistic, and start involving everybody else. And, the points obviously is going to be something that people care about a lot. But yeah, the process of, becoming a more complete player is much more important. If he can do that at the KHL level, which I think he could and should at this point, is probably more important than just getting like 10 minutes at the VHL level where he's just probably going to fall into old habits.
Right. Yeah, it's a better situation for him, all things considered.
Yes, and for everybody asking his contract, and I know because people are fun like that, contract next year. He expires in 26-27. Because we're getting close to that time.
We really are.
It's think about this time last year, or maybe a month or two from now, was when, shockingly, the first person to report on Amir Miftakov going to Carolina, this guy right here, had that out. Because it was talked about early in the cycle. So
yeah, it was. I do remember that. Well, and also you got to think like the KHL season ends in like little over 2 months from now, I think. So like,
how many?
We're gonna start seeing. Well, for some teams it does. Obviously, the playoffs.
I was trying to see.
We're gonna start seeing news of players trying to come over. Potentially some Canes prospects. I know there's a few guys whose contracts are up there, but like it's interesting.
We got our eyes on a few, to say the least. We'll probably talk about that in later.
For sure, yeah.
We'll probably talk about that in later episodes when it actually comes closer to that time. But I think the KHL has played about 40 games out of a 60-game season, so we're getting closer and closer to the end of that year, and maybe we're gonna see some interesting movement. Speaking of contracts, Canes prospects had a couple guys sign, some new ones, mainly in Sweden. One, I guess, was a little bit more prominent than the other. I guess we'll do Simon Forsmark first, who I thought was a little bit more prominent in getting a long-term contract extension from Timrå, just because it was reported that he might sign his entry-level contract last year, or I think last year. He didn't, went back to Sweden, and now has a contract until 2029. And since the Canes do lose his rights June 1st, 2026, I think that'll spell Forsmark's time as a Canes prospect. And, it does stink because I do think the player there, he reminds me a lot of Yoel Nystrom with a lot of the stuff that he does. But at that same point, Nystrom progressed a lot in Forsmark. Not saying that he's like entirely stagnated, but he's kind of been the same, I guess, player for the most part. And it also helps, or maybe not
Very
helps,
much
but like the Canes drafted so many other left-handed defensemen that are younger and have, I don't, how do I want to word that? But like when you look at guys like Noel Franzen and Alexander Sieradzki, Kerbin Limitov, Timur Cole, Roman Chakrin, and there's probably another guy or two that I'm forgetting. Those guys are, I don't want to say more interesting, but they're younger and they have some traits that the Hurricanes might value more than Simon Forsmark, who I believe at this point in time is 22 or 23, and he's kind of already a known product.
I wouldn't say he's grown a whole lot over the course of his development. Like when he was drafted, he was a really good U20 player, and then immediately was like a decent SHL defenseman. He's been a decent SHL defenseman for 4 or 5 years now, for 4 years now. Like so, I don't see him being the type of player that Carolina really wants to invest a ton into. And I mean, like you said, there's a ton of left-handed defensemen that they have. And with a lot of them having contracts that expire this year, like there's a good chance that we could see, players, supplant him pretty quickly in the if not already, I mean, because like he's not old by prospect standards, but he's getting there. Like
say he's
22 is fairly old for a prospect to have not made his North American debut.
That was going to be my thing. I think for me, prospect status ages out in their 23 season. So either if they turn 23 in year. That's normally when I kind of
typically the 23-year-old season is
your D+5.
Right. Like if you're signing your ELC at 20, that's the end of your ELC.
Yeah. So
typically teams know what you are. That's why like I stopped considering like Ryan Suzuki a prospect after that, because I'm like, he's signing a 1-year AHL, a one-way deal. Like
he's on a 2-way contract, excuse you.
Or he was on a 2-way. Yeah, that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a one-way deal. So like Carolina just doesn't, like, it's like the same with Gunler, and it's the same with
Dominic Fensore.
Like Fensore. Vernon Seeley, man. And like I like all of those players at varying levels, but like it's pretty clear that the impact that they're all going to have at the NHL level is very limited.
Yeah. Yeah. The next guy that has signed a new contract in the SHL is one that is a little bit younger and will still be considered a prospect in my very loose guidelines come the time his contract expires in 2028, and that is Oscar Voulay, who currently plays for Skellefteå. He picked up 2 points today, so he's up to 4 points on the season in 35 games. He's a interesting player. A lot of his offensive traits are nice. There's like his shot's pretty decent. I think his playmaking is really nice. His skating is decent. I think 5'11", not undersized. He doesn't use his body that much. And honestly, I thought last year was a much better year overall, even though the points weren't like entirely there, just 9 in 44 games. But I liked a lot of the processes that he had comparatively to this year, where, he was getting to the front of the net and he was still making plays happen, even if he didn't show up on the score sheet. This year, it's just kind of just a scale back to what it was in like his first year. And in 2 years, 3 years, when his contract does expire, maybe he's turned into a different player and it's something much more intriguing. But as for right now, signing the contract with Skellefteå is a much smarter idea, and maybe something, he shows a lot more positive development in those 2 years.
Yeah, there's still time. I mean, there's always the chance that Carolina, likes what they see after a year or two and is like, let's just sign you. You can stay in Sweden, but like, we at least get your, keep your signing rights. I mean, with him, he's always been a perimeter player. And that archetype of player really frustrates me when Carolina drafts them because they just don't work in the system that Carolina has.
Yeah.
They work in other systems, like Martin Necas is doing freaking great with Colorado, but it's not something that really works in Carolina's system. And so, I think for Voulais to take the next steps, he has to get to be more aggressive in getting to the middle of the ice. That's the absolute must for his development.
And that's what I liked a lot last year, was that he was getting net front a lot, which is nice to see from a guy of his size. And, you need to be able to do that. And sometimes he just doesn't. With contracts, anyways, and since it is 2026, dear God, the Canes have 3 guys whose contract rights expire at June 1st of 2026. We already talked about one with Simon Forsmark, and more than likely he does not get a contract because he's signed long term. Next up, the legend that I'm making sure people don't forget, even though I don't post about him at all because it's very hard to find Hockey Etten games, and I have other games to watch in my time. Nils Juntorp, who is still in the 3rd division of Swedish hockey.
This guy screams like if Carolina retains salary and like one of those 3-team trade things that are those still allowed this year? I can't remember if it's...
I think this might be the last year for him.
Okay, maybe. I was going to say, I can't remember if it was in this year's version of the CBA or next year's. But like, either way, it just screams like he's just going to be like the player add-in that just fills the requirement for those retained salary deals. Like because that's what he was in the Rantanen trade. Like he's just a guy.
Yeah, but he liked one of my tweets once. I thought that was funny.
Carolina actually traded the pick that became him. I think we talked about that when we acquired him.
Because I remember I think we were recording a podcast when Mikko Rantanen was traded, and we talked about Nils Juntorp.
No, we were not. I remember being at home.
It might have been the day after.
Yeah.
It was relatively soon after that. And then the last guy who has his rights expire at the end of this year, who I'm honestly much more intrigued about now over the last calendar year than what I was before, and plus with a lot of goalies having expiring rights coming up, and maybe one day next month or in a few weeks we'll do I would not even do a re-ranking of the goalie system because we can at least talk about it more in depth coming up. But Jakub Vondras, who is 21 years old, his contract rights expire June 1st, 2026, and the year-over-year development, at least if you look at his just base stats, from his 1 year in the OHL, where he had a 3.79 goals against and
he was one of the worst goalies in that league.
Yes, and that was on a Sudbury team that was supposed to be really good and loaded with talent. There's a lot of NHL draft picks on that team. Oh my God, and even more after that. But like, it was led by Quentin Musty and Dalibor Dvorsky, who, are halfway decent prospects. He goes back to the Czech Republic to Dynamo Pardubice. And with the B team last year, he had a 3.32 and a 890, which is wildly better than the OHL stats. And the Czech too, the 2nd division of Czech hockey, is a pro league. I should make that entirely known. It's not a youth league. It is full-on professional hockey. So that's already pretty good. And then this year, so far in just one less game than last year, in 17 games, he has a 2.63 goals against average and a 915 save percentage. So the improvement is already beautiful to see and very nice. With a lot of goalies in the Canes system, at least in North America, on 1-year deals, and also with him being 6'4", I mean, I wouldn't hate to see him kind of get what Nikita Quap got, even though I don't know if age requirements, because the CBA is a very confusing thing. Age requirements might be vastly different in terms of how many years you can give a guy, but I wouldn't be adverse to giving Jakub Vondras a 1 or a 2-year deal and, throw him in Greensboro and see what he can do. And maybe he turns into something, maybe he turns into nothing, but I would still at least like to see them give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he turns 22 in May, so he's not terribly old. He's younger than the other option they would have, which is
don't
Velmakin.
You're gonna be a hater. I don't like you anymore.
I think Velmakin's stats are better in what's probably a better league.
I would say VHL is better, yeah.
I don't
know.
I
would 100%
how to compare the VHL and the Czech second league, but
more than likely you can't, but I'd still try.
Right. Here's the thing. If Carolina needs goalies, I get why they would do it. You've got Hazayev, who I actually think could be a decent AHL goalie next year.
I agree.
I liked his start with Chicago.
He's one of the only goalies to have beaten back Grand Rapids.
Miftahov or Primo.
I might keep Amir around or Primo. I think you keep one of them.
I just... Would it shock you if neither of them stayed, though?
No, but I think preferably I would keep one.
Correct. But I don't think either of them right now are staying. And so then we have the option for Vondras or Velmakin to sign. Personally, I don't see either of them moving the needle too much. So with Vondras, he's a 6th round pick, same as Quap was. If you get pro games out of him, that's awesome, but it also wouldn't shock me if Carolina just lets his rights expire.
Yeah, and it looks like my internet is dying, so that's good.
You were super delayed.
Yeah,
now you're back.
I think my internet's dying a little bit, which is just awesome. One of the things I didn't think was going to happen now that I'm back at school is just happening again, which is great. Yep. But yeah, I think I'd still like to see them I guess my preferred way to do it would be keep one of Miftahov or Primo, because I just looked at the AHL goalie stats. They're both top 15 in save percentage and goals against, I think. So they're having a great year so far. And
they are, yeah.
I would try and keep one of them. You have Ruslan get a lot of the games with Greensboro going into the rest of this year, and then next year you let him be the back of the AHL. And then I would say to Igor Velmakin and Jakub Vondras, just see what you can do in North America. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if it does, cool. That's what I would do personally. But I'm also a biased goalie guy and biased prospect guy, so I might have a little bit of differing opinions compared to everybody else. So, all right, what do we want to tackle next? I guess because we're talking about Chicago, do we want to stay in Chicago?
Sure.
So I'm supposed to have a 16 thoughts coming out in 15 minutes, and I'm not done with it, but that's okay. But in that, I said, because I didn't really want to talk about the whole AHL coaching change, because realistically, everybody else did it, and I'm extremely late to everything. But obviously, Spiros Anastas has replaced Cam Abbott for the rest of this year, more than likely. And I continue to think that the story of when I met him is funny to me. Or I guess we met him at the same time.
We did meet him at the same time.
I thought it was funny, the way it happened.
He just comes up to you and I and is like, "Hey, which one of you guys is the Canes prospects, dude?" Like, he just knew that we looked like some freaking nerds.
We were at Dev Camp, and we were sitting in the stands just kind of near the media section, but we weren't there. I mean, we could sit there because technically, but I didn't care enough, and we were kind of near the heaters. So we're sitting there and we're talking. We have another person there with us, and we're all just talking about, the prospects, talking about what's going on. And I see a guy start to walk over to us, and he's kind of looking at me and Matt, and I'm like, oh God, did we do something wrong? And walks up straight to us and goes, hey, who's the guy that runs Canes prospects? And I, first up, I'm like, oh my God, how does he know either of our faces? And second up, did we say something to piss this man off? Like, is he a prospect's dad? Is he somebody in the organization?
Which dev coach did we really piss off?
I was like, I think I've been relatively good with not. I feel as if I've been very neutral and haven't pissed any parents off recently.
And I pointed right at you. I was like, it's him.
I was getting sacrificed. I'm getting sacrificed, and I go, that'd be me. Yeah. And he just goes, oh, hey, I'm Spiros Anastas. And I go, oh, okay, sick. And then I was like, okay, I'm perfectly fine, because I've been talking up Spiros a ton over the past calendar year. And no, Spiros is just a super nice guy. He's very supportive of the prospects as a whole. Very supportive of the account. It's really funny with like 30 minutes, an hour before a Wolves game, and he'll like or retweet something from the account, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's fun.
I mean, so like from being with like a team, it is very common for coaches and people to be on their phones, like
it's still
in the
funny.
locker room, just chilling before the game.
It's still funny to me.
I vividly remember watching it was Pittsburgh versus somebody in Jeff Wagner's office during like right before an Express game.
Oh, that was
that's it.
Yeah, no, but no, he wanted to introduce himself, and he's a super nice guy. And I was very appreciative of him coming first up, seeking, I mean, I guess me, but I guess us out as prospect guys. And it made me really happy to know that he was that supportive of it. So
I at least mentioned that I did it at one point, but it was well before him.
Yeah. Oh, well before. Yeah, sure. So yeah, Spiros is a cool guy. Maybe we'll get him on here eventually if I grow a pair to actually reach out and ask. I was supposed to after we did the Andrew Rinaldi episode, and that did not happen, because let me tell you, the stretch of time from when I did that Andrew Rinaldi episode to now has been vastly crazier than the time before we did that. So now that maybe when I'm back from Alaska, I'll try and reach out, or maybe during the All-Star break, because I feel as if he might have a little bit more time then, since
yeah, and there's the Olympic break too, which I think does that affect the AHL?
I think they have the AHL has a couple guys going. I don't think it affects the AHL as a whole, because I think the Wolves have like 3-3s from now until the end of time. At least for the next like month or so.
The AHL is limiting the amount of 3-on-3s that can happen league wide in their new
They really need more like weekday games. It's like
it wouldn't surprise me if that is a consequence of this new rule.
I think they need
it because the AHL is now, I think they're saying that the league as a whole can only have like 63 3-on-3 games.
Yeah, just make it like an NHL schedule. It makes so much more sense to do it like that.
I mean, travel is obviously a little bit harder. But very interesting. I guess that's something to bring up, is like the AHL and ECHL both have new CBAs.
The ECHL one scared me, because whenever they went on strike, I'm like, okay, are the Hurricanes, because like I think Pittsburgh called up a lot of their ECHL guys to the AHL just so they had practices and stuff like that. That did not happen with the Hurricanes, so I was a little bit nervous for. I mean, I guess the only two guys there were Hajayev and Quap, so I was like, that's probably bad. Getting no game time.
I mean, I could speculate as to why, but I think it's...
You don't need to do that. Making assumptions just makes
do any of that.
Making assumptions just makes an ass out of you and me.
So true.
Words. Let's do the other. Let's do the other big ticket item, as we're still trying to figure out when he's going to play for his new team after getting, I guess the IIHF just kind of forgot that he was going there, or it took him 12 years to get there in the first place. And now he's,
there's deadlines and stuff that you have to achieve. So it wouldn't shock me if like one of those was missed, or if they had to like fill out additional paperwork or something.
Yeah, it's just I thought he was going to play yesterday, did not happen. And now I basically have to just wait until later or whenever the Charlottetown Islanders say if he's going to play or not, because he is at least practicing with them. But that would be Ivan Ryabkin going to the Charlottetown Islanders in the QMJHL, which people got really mad at for some reason. And again, the 16 Thoughts that was going to come out, I guess, a couple hours from right now, on this Saturday, but the Saturday you're hearing this would have been last week. I went into a lot more detail on, like, I understand why people are going to be mad because the guy is 18 playing in the AHL, and then you're like, oh, he's going to the Q, it's a demotion. And on paper it looks like that, but it's not. He was a fourth line center who struggled with discipline and effort at times, and he was getting no power play time or very limited power play time. And for an 18-year-old, that's, the pro league is great to see him there, but it's probably not the best for his development unless he's in a role that will allow him to grow and thrive and actually truly develop. Now that he's gotten a ton of feedback from coaches in Chicago and probably from the Hurricanes of like, hey, this is stuff you need to work on if you want to become, an NHL player down the line, he can go to the Q and quite frankly dominate it if he does what he's supposed to do, and just show that, he's taking this feedback seriously and wants to potentially, because it's just a loan, go back to the AHL next year and show that he is a much more complete and well-rounded player.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with Ryabkin, like, it's great that he got this taste of pro hockey early. Could I see him coming back next year? Yeah. But like, it was very clear that he wasn't ready for it and needed extra time. They just couldn't. I guarantee you it's a visa issue.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't playing in Manitoba. Like, that means it's a visa
Brian
issue.
Windhorst, he wasn't playing in the Canadian games. What does that mean?
Something big is happening.
He didn't have a passport. Oh my God.
So yeah, with Ryabkin, like, you're getting him in a league where he can just freaking dominate.
Oh yeah.
And that's really good for a player's confidence. I think it showed him, hey, this is what it's going to take to be a hockey player at this level. This is what it's going to take to be a pro player. He had access to pro gyms. Like, Chicago's got one of the best practice facilities in the AHL.
Yep.
And they've got a really good coaching staff. So, you get all of those things together. You've given him a nice foundation for the future. Like, we saw little flashes of what Ryabkin can do, of like, oh, shoot, yeah, he's actually fairly talented. Like, he's still taking a lot of stupid-ass penalties, but that happens when you're an 18-year-old player playing in a league that honestly is a little overwhelming for you. I like it. I like the move. I think it gets him back to, I don't know how much development there is to do, but, he can go out and just play his game and get that confidence back, and then use that to bring it into next year.
Whenever we did the watch along for the 2 periods that we did it last Saturday, and he just goes for the shot and just smacks the goalie.
That did kill me a little bit. I was like, oh, Ivan.
Dude, it was funny to me. I know it wasn't funny overall, but that was hilarious to me.
It was a little funny.
Yeah. And also, like, Ryabkin was not, I guess another thing was that Ryabkin was not physically overmatched for the AHL.
No, he wasn't. It was mostly the pace.
He was still, there was a lot of things he needs to work on, but physicality, he's kind of got nailed down, which is kind of awesome for a guy who isn't even 6 foot tall. And
which we kind of expected. We expected the physical side of the game to be
yeah, we were trying to drill that in before the season started of like, hey, this guy's probably going to be physically ready. The other parts are probably not there, but yeah, I mean, I feel I'm interested to see how heavy he lays it whenever he goes to Charlottetown. How, because in the USHL he was genuinely throwing children around, and now he's back in a junior league. So I wonder if he gets to do it again. I get to have a few more highlight reel hits to
over under on how quickly it takes him to get a suspension worthy hit.
I'll go 1.5 games.
Ooh, I was gonna go 5. I was gonna give him a little bit of a cushion.
Hey man, the player he is, the hyper physical player. Nah, he's gonna do it.
It's it's valid.
Let's do. So yeah, we didn't. Well, I did watch some of the World Juniors because I was still interested in the tournament overall.
Yeah.
Very fun tournament. Sweden is just a unbelievable machine when it comes to hockey players at this point.
But usually only in the not in the medal rounds.
Yeah, I know.
Round robin.
But dear God, they just. I mean, it also helps that Anton Frondell, Ivar Stenberg, Vigo Bjork, William Eklund. No, Victor Eklund. I'm sorry. William is the NHL player. They were just good. And sometimes all you need is a little bit of love in net and you will succeed. And they played very well. I'm also really happy that a lot of the other countries have caught up in terms of development. And it's not just the US, Canada just running away with it all the time. It makes it so much more interesting when your gold medal game is Sweden, Slovakia? No, Czech Republic, sorry. And like the US places 5th and Canada places 3rd. It makes everything so much more interesting and so much more fun. And yeah, it was really fun. But obviously my attention was more in the Spengler Cup, which was a thing that I figured out was a real tournament for the first time when I heard of it, and Charlie Serrato was selected to it. So the U.S. collegiate selects a lot of talent on that team, and they walked into Davos and they got the silver medal, which is insane for college kids to go up against professionals and walk out with a silver medal.
And they also became like cult heroes. Like,
oh my God, they loved them.
Selling out. Like, everybody was in love with the U.S. team, which is like very hard to do.
Especially nowadays.
Like, with European hockey, because it's treated a lot like soccer is, right? Like, where it's very much like you've got your team and like that is it. Every other team can go to hell. Except apparently for the U.S. college select team. And I think it's really just because like the concept of it's neat. Like, it's just a bunch of dudes just like there to have fun. And I absolutely love it. I was enjoying those games. I wasn't able to watch more than like 1 or 2 of them, but every game I did watch, I came away like, hey, Serrato looks pretty good.
I watched, I think, a good amount of 2 of them. I didn't get to watch the gold medal game because one, it was at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. And dear God, I'm not waking up that early to watch hockey. I love most of you.
Yeah. There's like, especially not like college players versus like
Filip Zadina.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Serrato.
You guys remember when certain people wanted the Canes to draft him over Svetch?
No.
It was a very, very small portion of the population, but it's because people saw Zadina at like the World Juniors and he was going crazy there, and they were like, "Oh, he's gonna be like what Laine did."
Hey, I was that 2018.
2018.
Yeah,
Zadina ended up going 6th that year.
Yeah, I was not into prospects that much in 2018. I can confidently say
I very much was. That was my first full draft. That was my first draft running the account, actually.
I was 17 in 2018. So I was in high school, probably rooting for Oh, I was definitely rooting for Josh Manson to get traded here. That's what I was rooting for.
Yeah, well, it was because that was honestly a really big year because like there was obviously the Dougie Hamilton trade, like the
Yeah.
Canes drafted Svechnikov, second
Real
overall,
Adam
which was a
Fox
really big
hater.
deal. And then there was also, Jack Drury came out of that draft. That was pretty solid. The rest of that draft was bad. Like Luke Henman, Lenny Keelanen, Jake Kucharski, none of them signed. Jesper Sellgren was okay, but never played NHL games for us. I think that was the
now
whole class.
we've recreated Jesper Sellgren with Simon Forsmark.
We have just tall
Simon
Jesper Sellgren now, yes.
Except Forsmark never made it to North America, while Sellgren did.
Yeah, and Sellgren was looking like a decent. I don't know. That was a weird situation. But anyways, like I remember that draft being really important, for the Hurricanes because like, Dundon had just bought the team. Waddell, that was his first draft as GM. Like it really did feel like a turning point. So
So back to Serrato.
Back to Charlie Serrato.
Yes, biggest thing was that he looked good against pro comp.
Yeah.
2 points in 4 games won't blow anybody away, but the big thing for me was that he didn't look out of place against guys that have, genuine NHL experience and genuine top level European hockey experience. He was their second line center. He was a penalty killer. He was a power play guy where he was in the bumper at some points. He was on the wing at some point. I mean, he scored one hell of a goal on the power play. I mean, that was a crazy good shot. And I am feeling a lot more confident that I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I would be almost shocked if he didn't turn pro this year because
I think pro really is very likely. I don't know if NHL is super likely.
I mean, he can get a game in at the end of the year. Game
but
82.
I could definitely see Carolina saying, "Hey, you're not very far off from the NHL."
Yeah, I had that conversation with somebody where I was talking about, Serrato might not light up the score sheet sometimes, but he still does the stuff right. And somebody was like, I think he signed, and I was like, I wouldn't be shocked at this point. I don't think he's NHL ready right now, but the 1 game debut a la Jackson Blake against Columbus that year, Scott Morrow against Columbus that year, where they sign him out of college, get him in a few NHL practices, give him a game, and then go, hey, Chicago. But I think Serrato is going to be a really good pro. I still see kind of 3C right now, but some of the traits have me going, he could. I can't even start talking about 2C or people are going to get mad because, everybody can't find one.
There's a very high chance that a center spot opens up on the Hurricanes very soon.
Gee, well, no, because they still have Mark Jankowski, but yes, yeah, whatever, man. I'm still a believer, but it's not happening here.
Given the fact that Friedman, and again, we are recording this on January 10th, the fact that Friedman on January 9th was like, hey, Carolina is like actively entertaining offers for Kotkaniemi now. I'm like, that dude is gone.
Which is also really funny because, like, I feel as if Canes fans have kind of understood that they have been trying to trade Kotkaniemi for like a year. Like he was included,
right? But it's different. It's different for Carolina to be like, yeah, like maybe like we could include him in something. But it's different for Friedman to be like, nah, this shit's happening. Or excuse me, this stuff is happening,
dude. We had gone, I think, 10 episodes without.
We have. That's the one thing we'll have to edit. I'm sorry, Nick.
Bro, we had been doing so good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I understand you're passionate about Kotkaniemi.
Just accidentally slipped out.
I know you're really passionate about Jesperi Kotkaniemi, but
if Jesperi Kotkaniemi has one hater, it's me. I've never liked him.
I mean, I had hope whenever he first got here.
No, and I saw that dude play.
It slowly died.
His first 10 games with Carolina, I was like, this guy looks like a freaking ECHL player. Get him off of my team.
Well,
and then they gave him that 8-year contract. I'm like, what are they doing?
They're banking on development, which didn't happen. Okay.
Well, and that's another thing. I don't think this system leans very well to developing talented skill players. But
yeah, we're a prospect podcast here, buddy.
Has never played consistently in his life. Like he looked like I got a quote from somebody like during his rookie year. I was like, because where I got the ECHL thing from is like, this kid looks like an NHL player one night and he looks like an ECHL player the next. I don't know why Carolina's doing this.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
I've never been a fan.
It still is funny to me because like he was in the rumored Elias Pettersson deal. Friedman had it that he was in the Hurricanes offer for Hughes,
which is wild to me because like,
no,
he's not a centerpiece of a trade.
But and I think that's where the Hurricanes are going to get really, really lucky with the cap finally going up and the market finally seeing movement in the direction of the players. When Christian Dvorak gets 5 years and $5 million when he's 30 years old, and Alexander Wenberg gets $6 million, I think they're going to get very lucky because the market's going to look favorably on a 25-year-old who is still not making $5 million. He might
That's true, and you get him for 4 more years, and you think the cap's only going to go up after those 4 years.
So now you're going to look at it like, all right, we're paying our fourth line center, Christian Dvorak money, but he's 5 years younger than Christian Dvorak, and maybe he becomes something. He won't, but you can always have hope.
Yeah, I mean, he's still 25. Like, there's still probably 1 year left where like you can count on legitimate development, and it's also possible that a change of scenery is all he really needs. I mean, it's pretty clear he and Rod Brind'Amour do not. I don't want to say get along, but it's very clear that Rod just does not like having him on the team.
That quote was insane.
Rod was like, yeah, I mean, we need him to be more consistent. We need him to produce offensively. We need him to do this, and he hasn't done any of it.
He's like, all right.
I'm just like, so what is he doing, Rod?
Existing.
Because like Rod usually will at least be like, yeah, he's struggling right now, but we like what we're seeing out of the guy. Like, get his chances. No, he basically fell short of calling Kotkaniemi a bum.
I pay real money to hear Rod Brind'Amour call somebody a bum. I need to find a way to make that happen.
It was like he came this close. It was so funny. Like for me, ultimately, I think like, and this is the last thing I'll say about it because I know we're on another tangent. Shockingly,
prospect podcast, but it's okay.
For Kotkaniemi, I think like the ideal package is an NHL player. If you've got to put a prospect with it, awesome, whatever. I think more than likely Carolina's gonna probably get like
pieces for big
bottom 6 forward and maybe a draft pick,
dude.
But
let's make this little kid's heart grow 3
Devils
times.
Devils are scratching Dougie Hamilton today, by the way.
Yo,
as our good friend Kane Stats just texted.
Oh, he sent that. Oh, you sent that to the chat? Oh, I wasn't even paying. My phone has been on Do Not Disturb for a little bit, so
I apologize for being distracted. But yeah, I think ideally you get an NHL player, but likely you get like another cap dump type thing and maybe a draft pick or 2.
Yeah. Well, first up, I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb just because I have so many notifications I have to get through every morning. So, but yeah, my honest hope, I think from a standpoint of let's make Nick happy, maybe we can go to Winnipeg and steal like Brad Lambert for no reason, even though he kind of sucks. I want Brad Lambert because I was always a big fan of Brad Lambert.
He's one of the dumbest players I've watched play hockey.
Is there any world that we can just take Boumedienne?
Who?
Sasha Boumedienne. I believe that's how you pronounce that.
Who does he play for?
He's Winnipeg prospect.
I mean, I'm sure there's a world where we can get him somehow, but
hooray! Just say that and make me happy a little bit, all right?
Yeah. It'll happen, champ.
Thanks, man. I need my propeller hat, my lollipop, and I'll feel real good about myself.
It's like the attitude of like Pim from Smiling Friends.
Just me with a Brad Lambert like NHLE chart going, I have hope.
Yeah, exactly. I have hope, Charlie. I have hope.
I guess last two things I have on my list here. Can you name? Fine, let's do a trivia question. Can you name the Canes prospect that is leading the system in points this year?
Dustin Poirier. I have it pulled up. That's cheating. I'm sorry.
Could have had a little bit of fun there, but all right. Yes, it's Justin Poirier. He's been leading for quite some time now, actually. He's I would say he's kind of ran away with it, but Philip Ekberg is making it hard in the Canadian juniors for him to run away. But my God, I feel as if we talk about him so much, but there's always something to talk about because this young man just continues to play good hockey. The weekend series against Denver was shaky. You know, he had a really good, I thought he had a decent game. The first game they played where they beat Denver 5-2. He had a really nice primary assist, looked good, 6 shots on goal, very Justin Poirier-esque. In their next game, no shots on goal, -1. Okay. Did technically get the winner in the shootout on a really cool move. So who's the real winner here? And then last night, even though his team kind of got slaughtered by Providence, he did have a good primary assist on the power play to limit the score to 5-1, and then they ended up losing 6-1.
Chris Paul hits a huge 3.
Mainly when the trend I'm noticing just off my eyesight here, whenever Justin Poirier shoots a lot, he has good offensive production, and when he doesn't shoot a lot, he doesn't have good offensive production.
That is typically how it works, yes.
Hey, all I'm seeing, 10 shots against Lindenwood, and he had 3 points.
And then he had 4 the next night and had 3 points as well.
5 against UMass Lowell, 3 points. 4 against Boston College, and he had 2. Yep. And then, 0 shots, 0 points, 1 shot, 1 point, 3 shots, 0 points, 2 shots, 0 points, 2 shots, 0 points. Oh, just tell this kid to shoot the puck. More than likely, something good's going to happen.
Yeah, I think he's legitimately one of those players that has like the ability to drive play on the wing, which is pretty rare. He isn't afraid of contact. He actively seeks it. He's pretty aggressive. What was that I raised for?
It was NC State basketball related. Sorry.
Oh, is it good or bad?
They're up 34.
Good gracious. Against who?
Florida State.
Oh, okay.
But Justin Poirier doesn't play for those teams, so talk about Justin.
No, he does not. So, but yeah, like he's not afraid of contact. He will actively, get to the middle of the ice. Like some of the goals that he's scored this year have just been like silly, where he's just turned around and just fired a shot and it's just gone in because the release is unbelievable and he has like pinpoint accuracy. Like it's been like he's just been like and just like casually shot the puck towards the net and it's gone like 88 miles an hour and roofs it without looking like he's tried all that hard. It's ridiculous. But like another thing to keep in mind is like yes, this is his second year in the system. He is 19 years old.
Yeah,
and will be 19 years old until September.
Yeah, he's a youngin'.
So like yes, this is his draft +2, but this is almost his D +1. And so like Carolina getting him in the freaking 5th round, I mean, that's really impressive. I think there's a lot to like about him.
But but Matt, you have to realize, do you want to know why he went in the 5th round? I bet you do know why he went in the 5th round.
Because he's 5'8" and played in the Q.
I was just going to go 5'8". I didn't think the Q mattered that much because I think that year multiple Q players went high, but I get it. But yeah, no, he's 5'8". The thing is, to me as well, he doesn't play like he's 5'8" because he's a very physical player, is what I would say.
He gets involved in the physical aspects of the game.
Yeah, he's not like one of those tiny players who gets terrified to go into the corner. He's like, I'll do it. I'll gladly do it. He's not terrified to go stand in front of the net, even though he shouldn't because he's a better shooter. But it's stuff like that, and it's stuff of like the offensive production against better competition and the improvements and also his age. And it's like, hey, this could be a dude at the NHL level at some point. I need to see it real bad. This is like a personal thing. I have got to see him like play NHL games. I want to see that play style in the NHL real bad, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Canes can add some, if the Canes can put Poirier with like a sizable second or third line center and add like, maybe not like a big winger, but like, a winger that's bigger than 5'8", Poirier could just have a ton of fun out there.
You mean the entirety of the NHL?
Hey now.
I mean? I'm just giving the stats that, a lot of NHL players are above 5'8". That's all.
Sure. But like the big thing is like getting a center to kind of create space and be in that front, or like just a nuisance around the net.
Yeah.
Because
so Poirier
can have that type of space, oh god.
Yeah, he's going to. His release is just stupid.
Well, it's like ridiculous. You got to think this is a dude who was the first player in the QMJHL to score 50 goals in a year since Sidney freaking Crosby.
Yeah, and then
like
if he didn't get
let me say that again. Like it had been 20 years since anybody had scored 50 goals in the QMJHL, which is like a joke of a league sometimes because like I'm kidding, but like
whoa man,
it is a league where like it's just straight offense.
Yeah, that's the biggest
thing.
And
there's not been a single player since Sidney Crosby who is a no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah. And also he probably would have went back-to-back 50s if he didn't get hurt and miss, I believe, 10 or more games that year.
Yeah. Because what did he end up with last year?
43.
He ended up with 43 and he missed exactly 10 games. Like that.
That's stupid, dude.
He would have come close for sure.
Which is also why I'm getting very excited for Ivan Ryabkin in the QMJHL, because his Ryabkin's shot is not as good as Poirier's, but
skills wise, I think it's definitely a step down.
I was just gonna say I like Ryabkin's shot. We didn't have to say all that because he has a good shot. We saw it at Dev Camp. It was good and it was powerful.
Poirier has an elite shot.
Okay, I just was saying it's not like a big step down. It's a step down, but it's not like you have to like stretch your legs that far.
The guy's a scrub. No, I'm just saying.
Goodness.
Okay.
You got all your hater energy from talking about Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and you're spreading it. Come on.
No. I don't have. I've actually come around a lot on Ryabkin.
Yeah, I'll believe it. Lastly,
I promise you.
Lastly, that I have on my list of things to talk about, because I'll probably miss something big, and when this all happens, we'll probably miss another important thing that happens. But until then, Noel Franzen, who has been playing for Karlskoga in the Hockey Allsvenskan and was putting up some decent performances as of recently. Couple back-to-back overtime game winners is kind of fun. His skating is unbelievable. The offense was slowly starting to pick up a little bit more. And then Farjestad goes through a lot. I think they had a player injured, and then they changed coaches. And now he's back with Farjestad. In their first game, he looked good. 15 minutes in a game where they lost in OT, whatever, cool. 10 minutes today. I just thought it was interesting that he gets called back up. I don't know if it's like a full-time thing. I doubt it. But I'm still happy to see him playing some SHL minutes again this year, and you'll probably have more to say about it than I do, so I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah, the SHL is a better league. So it's good that he's getting that experience there. Not that the Allsvenskan is a bad league. I actually think it's probably on par with like the Finnish league. But better experience, more experience against better competition is good. I think there's a legitimate chance that we could see Franzen next year in North America because like I just for whatever reason he just doesn't really click with like the Swedish style of play, but like the skill is there, and like we've seen, he is quite good with the puck on his stick.
Yeah.
He's a lefty, and
the Canes have 30 of them everywhere.
Yeah, so there is a chance that they don't sign him, but I think he's just one of those players where it's an archetype they don't have, and I think because let me take a look here. I didn't have his page pulled up.
Wow, fake. But no, I want to see him because his skating is so unbelievably good.
And he's 6'1" too, so like he's got decent size. Like he's 194. Like there's decent amount of like weight there as well. Like that's an NHL defenseman build.
I don't know if I ever called him it over the past few years, but I don't know if I also got texted it, but I vividly remember a little bit after he was drafted, somebody said Swedish Tony DeAngelo. And I think I lost my mind for a minute whenever I heard that. But unfortunately, I kind of see it. He is a lot of good offense, but the defense is the defense is a little shaky. So, yeah, I want to see him in North America. I honestly had thought last year he had a chance to come over because I was a little bit of a nerd and looked at his Twitter following, and it was a lot of college coaches and college teams, but I'm guessing that was just teammates and stuff like that. So, or like former teammates or guys he knew, but I thought he was, but it did not happen. And now I think I wouldn't be shocked because also the Wolves have a ton of guys on 1-year deals, and maybe they want to keep injecting youth into their blue line. Because like Dominic Fensore is on a 1-year deal, Ronan Seeley's on a 1-year deal, Gavin Bayruth is on a 1-year deal, a lot of guys on 1-year deals. So I'd be interested to see him in North America. I think it'd be a good place for him, and I think he would have a lot of success for the Wolves if that was the case. Is there anything else that we need to talk about while I'm still thinking?
I don't think so. Most teams are like getting going still. I mean, Chicago had a big win against Rockford last night. Don't really think there were a ton of prospect performances. I guess Nadeau and Badinka combined for assists on Robida's goal.
Justin Robida should be an NHL player. Bradley Nadeau is good at hockey. I honestly
wonder if Carolina moves him for a draft pick.
Oh, I was going to say for like one, him like, and somebody else.
Would it shock me? Player. Would it shock you if he moves to like a Columbus type team for like a 5th round pick?
If they get a 5th round, dude, if they get a 5th round pick with Justin Robida, my God.
Yeah.
I think I'd be ecstatic about that. And it sucks because I
also,
really like
Archimonov, hasn't been great since the move. He had a good start, but is back to being pretty bad.
If I was wearing a hoodie, I'd pull it up above my face because, dude, I'm rooting for this kid so hard. But dear God, the stuff I'm seeing in the KHL is just almost downright depressing. I don't know what happened to the dude who led his team in points last year, but it's like he's disappeared. And I thought moving to a new team would help him out. And right now, he technically, statistically, he has, because he has 4 points in 16 games for Nefta comparatively to 1 point in 16 games for Torpedo. But he's still he's back on the 4th line. He's barely getting playing time. He's a minus most nights. And I know plus minus is a bad way to judge players, but, it's still not good.
Yep.
It stinks.
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting as well on, Siriatsky, Frolov to get healthy again.
And I was supposed to text you before your thing, but Timur Cole is healthy again. He's back playing hockey, and they've reunited my boys on the same pair. We have a Cole.
Oh, he is. EP still has him as hurt.
No, he's been playing. If you scroll down, if you have EP Premium to his
Yeah,
recent
he's played the
games,
last 3 games.
you see that ice time though. It's like he hasn't missed a minute.
24, 24, 25.
Yeah, he actually, well, he first played a little bit in December and had 23, but yeah, but they've reunited, or they've united him and Kerbin Limitov on the same pair, and they seem to be having a lot of success together. They eat minutes. I think Limitov kills penalties. I don't think Cole does, but Cole is a power play guy for them, and yeah, I'm glad he's back
He's
healthy.
another guy I wonder about this year.
2025, 26 contract expiry.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, Unk. I'm gonna dude, I want to actually talk to him, and I want to know if I say uncle to him, is he gonna actually know, or is he not? The teams were calling him uncle.
When did he? So he's back with
Oral.
He's in the VHL, but they haven't played a game in forever.
Yeah, I know. The VHL is a very weird thing. They've taken 2 weeks off.
Okay. That's all I got.
I believe that's everything on my mind. Obviously, if something comes up, unfortunate, because again, we have to record this so far in advance because I'm not going to be in the continental United States for a few days. Yeah, if something happens, somebody will say something. Other than that, yeah, thanks for listening. I believe this is the 18th, and the 18th episode, so we're chugging along. If we get to 20, I'll throw a party. I won't. It'll just be me probably drinking alone in my apartment, which is a party to some.
Same.
So, but yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll be back sometime in the next few weeks.
I'll see you guys soon.